So good morning everybody, myself Acharya Vishvendra, and these are the worksheets for various topics as shown over here. So here is the topic of linear equation. These are unsolved questions on that. Then there is another video lecture card on the same topic of linear equations, various forms, the concepts related to that. Then graphical interpretation of the straight lines, x-intercept, y-intercept, the various equations, the concept of slope, angle, and a numerical question based on that. Then we have another video on the concept of retention. It's based on education psychology and what are the dominating factors in cracking JEE and NEET. So this is another video on that concept. Here is that how can we make retention process better, which is the central point to crack JEE and NEET. Here is the concept of brain waves. What are the brain waves and how to deal with them. Then there is another test of physics on the topic of linear equations. Then is a question based on the graphs of straight lines basically. And here is a question based on straight line or finding slope, y-intercept and x-intercept. Then we have another worksheet on the topic of quadratic equation, various questions related to the quadratic equation as shown over here. Then there is a question on a general quadratic equation, finding roots, product of roots, then a numerical question based on that. Then we have discriminant based question, graph based question, conditions for real and unequal roots, real roots, imaginary roots, etc. Then there is another video on the topic of pure rolling. The various concepts are discussed over here. Conditions for pure rolling, acceleration of center of mass, expression for acceleration, friction. Then here is a numerical problem based on that and application of these direct concepts. Condition for minimum friction coefficient, then values of mu minimum, then another numerical problem to implement what we learned in this video lecture. So this is the numerical question on that. Then we have another video lecture concerned with my official YouTube channel Acharya Vishvendra. I was just thinking about the videos and the content what I'm gonna offer in this. So the first is full length video lecture. Second is a worksheet as you can have seen in this video. These worksheets may be general, maybe NCERT, line to line, PYQs, extra questions, then tests. We have different formats of test. Then a concept of topic card, trick card and mind maps. That's what we are planning to do. Then we have another test on the topic of pure rolling, the various concepts, the various questions related to that. Then we have some numerical based problems on this. Then we have another test on the concept of pure rolling, various questions related to velocity of point P, condition of pure rolling, displacement, equations, etc. As you can see over here. another video lecture on force, the various concepts of force, its mathematical meaning, its graphical analysis, dependency on the angle, condition for various forces. Then is a numerical problem based on that, calculation of average force, magnitude of average force, momentum as a function of time. Then graph related question, then analytical question based on graphs. Then we have another question on momentum time graph, calculation of force at different instants as shown over here, calculation of greatest forces, minimum forces, specific time force calculation. Then we have momentum based question, different questions based on that, average force, instantaneous force, graph of force, momentum time graph, variation of momentum with time, analysis, maximum minimum momentum. Then we have another video on force, conceptual problem on force, classification of forces, 4 types, then analysis of these, generalized force domination, derived forces, expression for the short range, long range. Then here we have ranges of forces, nuclear forces, their properties, analysis. Then there is a question on the calculation of tension at various points. Then another question on calculation of tension in the string. Then numerical question based on tension. Then another question on calculation of tension, its analysis, graphical variation, effect of X on the tension, then vertical string, calculation of tension at various points, graphical analysis, maximum minimum tension, maximum possibility of breaking, graphical analysis, numerical based problem on that. Then we have another question on tension block problem, calculation of tension at various points, and calculation of tensions when the system gets accelerated upward, then system gets accelerated downward, free fall acceleration and tension. Another numerical based problem on vertically accelerating system. Then another question on vertically accelerating in downward direction, the system of string in the block. Then analysis of free fall situation, artificial satellite situation. Then we have another block string problem, calculation of acceleration of system tension at various points. Then another problem on basis of tension, then 2 blocks connected by a string, calculation of acceleration, tension at various points A, B and C. Then we have another problem on 2 blocks, 2 different forces are applied, calculation of tensions in different cases. Another case of calculating tensions, another case of calculating tension. Then we have another question on calculation of tensions at various points, numerical problem based on a vertically hinged rod. Another example of vertically hinged rod, calculation of tensions at different points, then calculating tension in an accelerated system, then calculating tension in a system which is accelerating downward, the various points. Then we have another problem on a free falling system, artificial satellite system, string block problem, calculation of various parameters like acceleration, tension, A and B. Then another block problem, calculation of tensions. Here also calculation of tensions. Then we have the concept of normal reaction, various aspects of it, calculations of normal reaction in different cases, Then a numerical problem based on a block of mass 60 kg, analysis of normal reaction, and its analysis to use that whether it's accelerating upward, downward, or whether it is moving with a constant velocity. And then wedge problem, normal reaction on the wedge, graphical analysis, then its acceleration down the plane, time taken, calculation of time, variation of time with the angle, the various possible options for that. Then we have another problem on wedge, calculation of speed, variation with angle, graphical analysis, dependency on length. Then we have V root L graph, maximum minimum values of V, effect on theta on V, analysis ratio, and different cases for two different wedges of different angles. Then we have another topic card on potential energy, various points related to potential energy, then mathematical relation, external force, law of conservation of mechanical energy. Then we have relation between force and potential energy, its graphical interpretation, calculation of force from the angle, various cases, positive, negative, neutral forces. Then we have an introduction of optimal physics, basically the topic card, the worksheet, the test. Then we have the description for the OST program. It's a 21 days program, problems, answer, patterns. So it's basically about fetching the neural patterns out of physics, chemistry and maths and implement that to solve your question and crack JEE NEET. So it's all about that, the psychological and neurological level analysis in this particular video. Then we have a test on potential energy. It's a JEE main and NEET level test. So various questions related to that, units, dimensions, ratios. Then definition of work done and potential energy, and work done by forces, various questions related to them, force and potential energy, numerical questions based on potential and force. Then we have some numerical questions based on calculation of graphical and numerical based question for analyzing the force at different points as shown over here. Then we have a very good question on analysis of mechanical energy. It's based on law of conservation of mechanical energy. So it's a good question. Then we have the concept of a spring force, the various cases, graphical analysis, units and dimensions analysis, graph based questions. Then we have spring block problem, calculation of time period and various parameters, numerical questions based on that, various parameters related to spring mass system. Then we have another question on a spring mass system, calculation of force, acceleration, time period, angular frequency, calculation of some questions, then combination of springs as shown over here. Then we have problems based on calculations of equivalent spring constant in various cases as shown over here. Then we have some more questions based on parallel combination. So these were various questions related to combination of springs. Then the concept of pseudo force, its application and questions based on the pseudo force. So here is a question based on pseudo force, calculation of pseudo force, its magnitude, then calculation of tension block problem. Acceleration is given. We need to find pseudo force with respect to both observers, tension in the string. Then is another question based on different frames, calculation of pseudo force, net force, question based on that. Then we have a composite wedge block problem using concept of pseudo force and calculations of conditions on acceleration so that both moves together without no relative slipping. The calculations, conditions of normal reaction and acceleration on that. Then we have another question based on combined concept of pseudo force and normal reaction to find conditions of free fall of the block, normal reaction in that case. Then a numerical based problem based on this concept. And then we have another spring block system, calculation of forces, extension and acceleration. Then we have another topic card on moment of inertia, various aspects of moment of inertia, graphical relations, graphs, SI/CGS unit, calculation of moment of inertia of a point about different axes. Then about a point, 2-point mass system M1, M2, and moment of inertia is to be found about the center of mass. Then we have some numerical problems based on calculation of moment of inertia about different axes as shown over here. Then there is a concept of theorems on moment of inertia, its perpendicular axis as well as parallel axis theorem, explanations to them, graphical analysis. Then moment of inertia for some standard bodies. So this is the chart of moment of inertia for different bodies. Then we have moment of inertia for a rectangular block about different axes as shown in the figure, calculations based on that. And then we have moment of inertia of a road about different axes as shown in the figure, calculations of the moment of inertia, dependency on the angle, a system of 3 roads, calculation of the moment of inertia. Then we have another question on for calculation of moment of inertia of a system of rods about different axes as shown in the figure. And then we have moment of inertia of ring and cylinder about different axes as shown in the figure. Then another question on disc and solid cylinder, calculations of moment of inertia about different axes. Then question on moment of inertia of hollow cylinder about different axes. Then calculations of moment of inertia of solid cylinder, hollow sphere about different axes as shown in the figure. Then calculations of moment of inertia of a solid sphere about different axes, moment of inertia of a system of 4 spheres about different axes, their calculations as shown over here. Then we have another question on the calculation of torque, the relation between linear and angular parameters as shown over here. Then we have some numerical problems on calculation of kinematics of circular motion. Fan starts moving with alpha, omega is given. We need to calculate various parameters like angular velocity, angular displacement, omega t graph, theta omega t graph, theta t square graph. So the calculations are shown over here, and this is the solution. In this way you can solve the questions. It's basically the use of equations. Then we have some omega t graph, their analysis, calculations of theta, number of revolutions, graphical based analysis of omega at different points. Then omega average, omega instantaneous dimension unit. Then we have a problem based on a rod is given to you, it's released from horizontal position. We need to calculate torque alpha omega as shown over here. Graphical analysis. Then maximum minimum value, calculation of alpha, impact of theta on alpha. Then another question based on omega, maxima minima, resulting motion will be oscillatory. Then we have the concept of pure rolling, then conditions for them, then various cases involving calculations of omega and v. Then we have another question for calculating velocity at different points on a body which is in pure rolling. Graphical analysis as shown over here. Then we have some analysis of our content. It's full physics lectures, worksheets, NCERT discussion, 8 PYQs, JMIN PYQ discussion, JEE advanced PYQ discussion. So this is we are planning in advance. So these are various points, various things related to that. Then we have another question on torque, calculation of torque, direction, how to find them out. Then how to find up the plane and down the plane, numerical question based on that, analysis of force. Then there is a couple concept, the couple torque is being given here. Then we have another worksheet on the concept of angular momentum, units, dimensions, values, different cases, calculation of angular momentum, numerical problems based on that. Then we have another question on position vector and force, calculation of various parameters. And here is calculation of arc cross F, which is also equal to torque. Torque about different axis magnitudes in different planes. Then numerical problem based on torque and equivalent force. Then we have another question on calculation of angle moved by a fan. Various parameters related to it. Angular velocity, angular acceleration, average, instantaneous, graphical analysis, everything is shown over here. Then we have another question based on analysis of angular momentum of a body which is in translation as well as rotational motion. So various calculations involved with them. Then calculation of angular momentum of a body moving on a straight line. Various parameters related to that, the analysis of them, SI unit, CGS unit ratio. Then we have another question based on then we have analysis of friction on inclined plane, maxima minima condition, condition on mu, minimum maximum conditions for mu, which is based on pure rolling on inclined plane. Here is analysis of them. Then calculation of friction in different cases, maximum minima condition, kinetic energy of rotation, for maximum minima conditions for them. And then we have analysis of angular speeds, maximum minima, omega max, omega minimum. Then analysis of friction. Then we have another problem based on translational kinetic energy. Then analysis of translational kinetic energy, maxima and minima for them. Then order of kinetic energy of translation. Then calculation of various parameters, relation between translational and rotational kinetic energy. Then calculations of time period, minimum, maximum value, different cases, comparison for solid, sphere and ring. Then we have another question for analyzing the concept of VCM. Then another concept of analysis of VCM. And then we have the concept of pure rolling on inclined plane, calculations of ACM. Then calculations of maxima minima analysis of ACM. Then maxima minima calculation and its variation for solid, sphere, disk, hollow, sphere and ring, and calculation of time period. Then we have a numerical based question on calculations of mu, a numerical based problem on that. Condition for forward friction, backward friction, zero friction, numerical problem based on that. Analysis for height at which force should be applied so that a body can roll without friction. So this is height for that. Then we have the condition for pure rolling, its implementation, calculation of various parameters, numerical problem based on that. Then we have another video on quantization, on quantum theory, which is ultimately related to the energy level of electrons and which also maps with the energy level of humans, what we feel like that. So it's a coordination between physical and metaphysical dimensions of life, or between, you can say, that brain and the mind and their coordination. Then we have topic card on the concept of magnetic flux, the various parameters related to magnetic flux, variation with angle, then its analysis for different cases, maxima minima conditions, then problems based on dimensions and units of magnetic flux. Then we have another concerned video on exam anxiety, root causes, its elaboration using a problem of physics. Then mind-brain coordination, the concept of brain waves, low frequencies, high frequency, and how you can change the frequency from low to high, which is called the art of brainwave frequency modulation, which relieves you of anxiety, depression, and emotional conflicts while you solve a particular question. So then is OST program, it's detailed for the psychological adaptability. It's available on Amazon, Flipkart, Notion Press, and the YouTube video is also available with the same name, OST by Acharya Vishvendra. Then we have another video on psychological analysis of studying, the various things related to them, belief system versus knowing systems, old and new information matching and learning. Then we have another worksheet on spatial graphs, exponential graphs, basically plus minus graphs, and various cases related to them. Then we have another video lecture on the concept of parabolic graphs, as shown over here. Then we have another worksheet on graphs of a straight line, as shown over here. Then we have the video lecture on straight line, different cases, possibilities, calculation of various parameters, numericals problem based on that. Then we have another worksheet on graphs. Then another next worksheet on the concept of graphs, questions based on that. Then another worksheet on trigonometry, various formulas related to trigonometric. We have then another worksheet on the basis of trigonometry, the unsolved questions on that. Then we have another video on the concept of trigonometry, unsolved questions based on Pythagoras theorem and various trigonometric identities. Then we have another video lecture on a mental simulation program for JEE and NEET, the various aspects of them, and elaboration of a pattern using the concept of center of mass for different bodies and the various facts related to that. Then we have another, you can say that, education psychology based video on effective preparation for competitive exams, various aspects of concern, their relation and elaboration using the concept of chemical kinetics of chemistry. Then we have optimal physics content elaboration. Then we have a question based on friction, analysis of the graph, analysis of friction, various parameters related to that. And then we have another concept of optimal physics, what are the various things that we are gonna do, and a brief elaboration of them. Then we have another video on calculation of friction based problem, a block placed on a ground, and calculations of normal action, limiting friction, kinetic friction, acting friction, minimum value to move, conditions with it move or not, questions based on that, analysis of that, different cases as shown over here. Then we have another question of, it's a metaphysical video, that are we just an algorithm, processes, body, brain, mind, its coordination, brain waves, patterns, then physical and metaphysical dimensions, how they are related. Then 7 levels of consciousness corresponded by 7 human chakras, their relation and how they works. Then we have another block problem on the basis of concept of friction, various questions related to that, calculations of minimum force. Then there is another education psychology video on why GE NEET are so hard to crack, analysis of mind-brain system, analysis of syllabus, and what percentage is, what is the probability of what you read that it will come in the exam, so based on that. And then a psychological analysis of your mind-brain system. Then we have another, you can say that education psychology video on secrets of JEE and NEET, as only 2% students are able to select, so certainly they use some secret techniques. So this is an elaboration of the mind-brain system using the concept of circular motion of a particle. Then we have another question based on bulbs, calculation of powers, and analysis of impact of resistance and current, in which bulb has more resistance, which one has more current, analysis of that. Then we have another question on bulb itself, calculation of resistance, current, power in different cases as shown over here. Then we have another question based on electric bulb, the concept, resistance calculation, graphical analysis in different cases. Then we have another cube problem, 12 resistors are connected across cube, calculation of resistance across different points in resistances and in capacitance in different combinations, it's being attached. Then we have another solved question on use of KCL and KVL for calculating I1 and I2 in the circuit as shown over here. Then we have Kirchhoff's law, KCL, KVL, its implication and how to use it, sign conventions used, and its application in a particular question. Then we have a worksheet on magnetic force, various questions related to that. Then we have a question on Zener diode, calculation of I1, I2 and power calculations. Then we have another worksheet on logic gates. And analysis of p-n junction diode as shown over here. Then we have worksheet on electric potential as shown over here. Then there is education psychology video on optimal physics, why, thought process for that, mind-brain system analysis, analysis of why students of same teacher who went through the same exam performs differently, its analysis. Then we have another worksheet on electric potential. Then we have another worksheet on calculation of moment of inertia. Then we have another worksheet on calculation of acceleration. Then we have another education psychology video on optimal physics. Then we have another weights on bridge based question. Then a question based on combined series and parallel resistances, calculation of R equivalent, current in the circuit, voltage across various elements, current across various elements, then voltages and power across various elements. Then we have concept of parallel combination, equivalent, analysis of power, analysis of a circuit comprising of parallel resistances, calculation of various parameters. Then we have calculation of R equivalent, another circuit based on series combination, calculation of various parameters. Then we have calculation of cylindrical resistance, spherical resistance, various cases involved with that. Then we have a problem based on calculation of resistance of cylindrical shell in different cases, equivalent resistivity, concept of resistance when current flows in radial direction. Then we have a problem based on resistance based on resistance, its values, dimensional formula, SI unit, CGS unit, dependency on temperature, graphical analysis, variation with various parameters, frustum example. Then we have another education psychology video on optimization of the mind-brain system. Then we have another video on alternating current. Then we have another education psychology video on effective study for JEE and NEET. Then we have another video on education psychology video on patterns of JEE and NEET physics, analysis of them. Then various parameters, various patterns, and then a topic card on work done by a force. Then we have a video on NEET analysis, various subjects, various chapters, total chapters, analysis of physics, chemistry and bio. Then we have another video on effective study for JEE and NEET using the concept of patterns, various questions based on that. Then it's a summary of my physics lectures for both the classes, class 11, 12, what are the contents, how many number of average hours for the full course, and then the various formats that we are going to provide in this video lecture. Then another introductory video on optimal physics, its contents related to both the classes, elaboration using a question of friction and its analysis. We have a worksheet on Wheatstone bridge circuit in different cases, different calculations. And we have a worksheet on equivalent resistance. Then another worksheet on combination of cells. Then another worksheet on cells. Another worksheet on equivalent resistances. Another worksheet on power given to a resistance, graphical based questions, its analysis. Another question on worksheet on Ohm's law. another worksheet on current electricity. Another worksheet on current electricity. Then questions based on calculations of current in different cases. So calculations of current and various parameters related to that. Analysis of current as a function of theta in different cases. Then we have a topic card on electric currents. Its quantities, its SI unit, CGS unit, calculation based questions, analysis of classification of material, the different comparison between different parameters, and a numerical problem based on that. Then we have a worksheet on Bohr's model. Then we have worksheet on moment of inertia of disk. Then we have another worksheet on Bohr's model as shown over here. Then we have another worksheet on moment of inertia of ring. Then we have another worksheet on physics formula list related to elasticity. Then we have another worksheet on moment of inertia in general, graphical analysis, calculations of simple moment of inertia cases. Then we have another education psychology video on the concept of optimal physics, the performance graph analysis, psychological analysis, frequencies, mind-brain system analysis. So in a way you have seen that optimal physics is not about teaching you physics. It's about training of your mind-brain system for getting optimal results and cracking JEE and NEET. Actually, any competitive exam is based on psychologically designed patterns, and if you have the quality, the efficiency of decoding those patterns, only then your preparation will be of some use. Otherwise, if you are not comfortable with the decoding the psychological patterns of the exam, then you will face anxiety, depression, negative feelings when you try to solve questions, and your mind-brain system will adapt to the habit of developing these negative emotions. So it's a must that you must get rid of the flight mode activated by the brain, and just develop your mind-brain system so that you can have a strong and complex mind-brain algorithm which is capable to decode the psychological patterns asked in JEE and NEET. As per the statistics are concerned, JEE and NEET both are comprising of about 6,000 A4 size pages, out of which only 25 to 30 page information will be of use in the exam. And that information is highly classified. It's based on patterns, integrated patterns most of the times. And if you want to crack that exam, you need to develop your mind-brain algorithm to decode the pattern used in the exam. Only then you will be able to crack exam and achieve optimal performance. And do remember one thing: it's not about cracking the JEE or NEET. You have to perform when you will enter into IIT or NIT or any government funded institution, and you will have to perform when you will work for an MNC or will do something of your own. So performance will always be there, and you will always have to perform throughout your life. So just develop your mind-brain system so that you can undergo optimal performance and live a quality life. I have uploaded a video with the name OST by Acharya Vishvendra. My book is also there. You can see that on Amazon, Flipkart, Notion Press, or Google it out. And similarly, I have another video on YouTube with the name OST by Acharya Vishvendra. So you guys use them for your own benefit. And if you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.